And welcome back to Who Would Win. And today's Who Would Win also comes to us I just did two, or did one prior. This next Who Would Win comes to us from Corey Jackson, who asked the question: Who would win a fight? Ivy from Soul Calibur versus Renji Ibarra from Bleach. Both of them essentially have chain whip sword-like weapons. Now, Ivy, what I did essentially was bring up a death battle video of her and Orchid from Killer Instinct. So I get an idea. Ivy does know black magic. She used it to create her sword. It is sentient. She does have some magical fire abilities, but her bread and butter weapon and fighting style is long-range combat. Her sword, the Valentine, is essentially a sword that can immediately turn into a bladed whip that she can control with ease, with great power, great speed, dexterity, and control. She's a master of her weapon. She can use underground attacks, long-range attacks as her bread and butter. Combining that with things like fire and things along those lines, sphere traps as well to basically kind of temporarily trap an opponent. She is a highly skilled individual, and you will have no idea how hard it was for me to find a photo that I felt was tasteful to put in the thumbnail. Yeah, it's like they don't mince words with the sexuality with this character, which, let's be clear, I'm not complaining, but at the same time, I'm like, I want to at least try to be tasteful with whatever photo of her I use. So yeah, there's not much really to go over. She's not really overly skilled hand-to-hand combat in terms of like straight close quarter combat. So it is better for her to stay at long range. Renji Ibarra is I think still is the lieutenant of the 6th Division in Bleach of the 13th Coast Guard Squad. He is a master swordsman, particularly because his sword is a melee type. Zanpakuto all have two different forms. There's Shikai, which is an enhanced form of it with more power, and the Bankai, which is essentially the full potential of a Zanpakuto release, which can quintuple to dectuple, or 5 to 10 times greater power than what is previously I just completely blanked out on what I was talking about. Basically, it's about 5 to 10 times greater than the Shikai. Shikai's power, there's no real indication of how much stronger the Shikai's power is. It's all dependent really on the Shikai's power. There is no multiplication. It's a matter of what exactly it is the Shikai's ability, and the Shikai's ability is all dependent on the soul of the user. They impart their soul and becomes a unique weapon to them. In the case of Renji Ibarra, similar to Ivy, his becomes a chain sword, chain whip, but his is designed differently than hers. His is more, and you can see it in the photo. It looks more like a giant flat cleaver with prongs coming off of each blade that can detach segment. It looks like attached by wire, and he can use it just as a straight sword, just like she can, and it extends and does more or less the same thing. Now his can go longer, but it's also heavier, so there's a lot more momentum and force, so it hits harder, but it's a bit slower of a weapon. Renji is also a very skilled physical combatant. Like, he can go toe-to-toe in a fight with someone physically. Does have knowledge of Kido, which is essentially their version of magic. He's a practitioner, but he's not exceptionally skilled in it. Like, a lot of Kido will backfire in his face. He knows Shumpo, which is essentially their super speed, allowing him to disappear in a blink of an eye. His Shikai, Zabimaru is the name of it. His Zanpakuto also has the ability to break off into chunks and segments. So if it's destroyed at any point, it can basically break. The remaining bits can fly up in the air and then attack someone. And then he has his Bankai, which initially was a different thing entirely than what we actually have now. Initially was known as Hiyo Zabimaru. Now it's Soho Zabimaru. It initially turned into a giant F-off snake with a skeletal head that fired a laser cannon from its mouth. But his actual Shikai is actually essentially it's a blade on one hand with a snake head over it. Or with, no, the blade comes, it's like a snake gauntlet that has a blade in it. He's got fur on his back, and the other side has a giant baboon arm. Now the baboon was great for grappling and grabbing. The blade is it has similar properties to Zabimaru's original form, a Shikai form, but it also, once he stabs someone, he does have one final form where he charges his spiritual energy up, which is what most characters in Bleach have, energy manipulation capabilities, into a giant like burning snake head. It incinerates an opponent essentially. So yeah, Renji is very powerful. He's not nowhere near the strongest character in the series. He's not even a captain level. Well, he would be considered captain level, but compared to all the actual captains, he's pretty much weaker than every captain that's around currently in Bleach. Or that has really existed. Well, I can't really say that he's probably stronger than maybe a few of the captains, but it's debatable seeing as who we have left for captains. So how does this fight break down? Well, let's say in her pursuit of Soul Calibur, she has somehow, through an alchemic formula, wound up in the Soul Society, not realizing where she is, and is kind of causing some problems. Renji goes in to investigate, asks her who she is. She says, "My name is Ivy," but that's But whatever, my business is my business. I'm on a mission, quest, whatever. Well, sorry, I can't just have you doing whatever you want around here. It's like, I will do whatever I want. I don't need to have some young boy telling me what to do. And it's like, lady, you're barely older than I am. Oh, you'd be surprised. And basically, she just says, get out of my way, or whatever. It's like, I can't let you do that. He pulls out his sword. It's like, oh, isn't that cute? And then she just pulls out Valentine, and the fight begins. And she immediately just extends it out, and Renji just gets out of the way. It's like, whoa. It's like that a chainsaw. He's like, it's kind of like what Zabimaru does. And she's like, oh, ain't you going to come down and play? And then she charges up and just, bringing the chainsaw. It's faster than Zabimaru, though. I will say that. It's definitely faster than him. And Renji's definitely got to, try a little bit to get out of the way. She then fires some magic fire at him. He gets a little burn, and then it's like, blade comes down. And then he quickly says, roar, Zabimaru! And then sword changes, clashes against his, and he gets out of the way. Before, the big dust ball, before a big craters from his landing with some dust coming over, and then she uses her sphere traps to kind of trap him temporarily. And then, brings in Valentine again to try to attack him. But then all of a sudden, she sees Zabimaru come out of the smoke, and she immediately retracts her blade and blocks the blade, and then catches on the blade, which Renji just now got her, looking at her just with a look like, okay, you want to play, let's play. So he immediately shumpos behind her, which is their super speed technique, for those of you who don't know Bleach well, and immediately just kind of knocks her out, and really, that would be, well, I think she could probably take one rapid punch to the head, though it would definitely disorientate her, but which she would compensate by just wildly flinging like a circular sphere of her Valentine around, just to keep him at bay. Zabimaru is able to overpower it to some extent, but the overall momentum and velocity is just, he can't get through it, and he's just saying this is getting annoying. And then she just basically combining her magic fire with her blade, and just like, I'm really digging this, Bankai. And then just suddenly she realizes after that whole, the light disappears and the smoke clears, that she can't, something's got a hold of her blade, and Soho Zabimaru's giant ape hand is just grabbing the blade, just yanks it out of here. Now it is sentient, so it can theoretically come back to her, but he's just holding it in his hand and just, I gave you a chance, and then just and she's it suddenly gets it right through the chest, and just no, it's like this can't be. And then you know what, if I'm going to say this, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this right here. I want to know the actual name of the attack so I can come off cool, as cool as I can be, just as a guy talking about nerd, as a guy who's as nerdy as he is, doing what he's doing right now. Okay, characters. Come on. Luckily, I have the Bleach wiki up on my bookmark, so I can always immediately go to it. All right, I'm gonna have to actually go into the characters real quick. Wouldn't you know, he's the first character. Thank God. Okay, here we go. So the name of the attack was a little too far there. Come on. Okay, it was Hio, which is the monkey arm, Orochi, which is the snake, and then Suzabanaru Zaga Tempo, which is after impaling an enemy with his blade, he clutches his fists, forming jaws of spiritual energy. These jaws then close down on the enemy, forming a visage of a large serpent-like skull, crushing them in this fang, and simultaneously fires a blast of energy. It reduces the target to ash, and it basically reduces her to ash. Ultimately, she is just a very limited fighter in comparison to Renji. Renji more or less has all the. He's also far older than she is. Most Shinigami are at least a couple hundred years old. So he just has the experience, the overall weaponry and abilities over Ivy. Unfortunately for Ivy. So yeah, now Ivy theoretically again could get a lucky shot in. But this is one of those things where anytime I'd use lucky shot as an excuse for winning, it's usually means 5%. 95% of the time Renji's gonna win this hands down. There's maybe a 5% chance where he can get a lucky shot. She can get a lucky shot in. Otherwise, it's Renji. It's Renji all day, every day. But let me know what you think. You think Renji wins all the time? You think Ivy actually wins more times than not? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. So I'll be back. Actually, I'll be back tomorrow with the who would win and what if. And hopefully, Ravnica Legion spoilers are starting tomorrow. So I'll have a video when I get back from work on that. Until then, thank you for watching. I'll see you.